Hello, thanks for tuning in and welcome to the pool party. I hope you can swim because we're definitely diving into the deep end with a huge splash of truth, facts, evidence, information, and proof. Swim. Say what you mean. It's talk about talking. How we listen, how we hear, how we speak, how we hear what we're listening to when we speak, how a listener hears what we're saying, if what we're saying, what they're actually hearing and or understanding. Is it clear? Swim. Say what you mean. Well, that's just the beginning of understanding, because after we get that understanding, how do we accept it? How we respond if it's not what we expect is paramount. Are you okay with the truth? Are you man, woman, human, or spiritual enough to accept the truth? Let's find out. Welcome to The Swimming Pool with your host, Travis Bridges.
Bam! Yes! SWYM. That is the acronym for Say What You Mean. ING. It's on your screen right now. Do you see it? I hope you do. Or do you see me now? Sure you see me now. Good evening. My name is Travis Bridges, but you know that. This is the swimming pool. You know that also because the announcer just told you. It's Wednesday. Hump Day. This is the day that I used to have Boy Scouts, and it was a day that I looked forward to because when I was about 9, 10, 11 years old, I was in the Boy Scouts, and we went camping. We went to lots of field trips. I remember we went to Wilmington to see the USS Battleship Memorial, and there was an alligator in the water, and we picked up a pizza out of the parking lot that somebody threw away, and people were feeding the alligator. And we threw that whole pizza in there. And I watched this alligator swim towards that pizza. And he went like this. Ah. And the alligator ate the pizza. In my mind, as a maybe 11, 10-year-old, I remember thinking, I don't want to be around alligators. I don't want to be an alligator whisperer. I don't want to do that. I just knew then, just not my thing. Anyway, back to my focal point. I have a topic. I have a guest that's coming up. I'm going to review last week, and I think I have something good. I'm going to get out of here before the bottom of the hour for sure. Hopefully my guest will, comply with all of the good stuff that swim has to offer in terms of listening, hearing, and paying attention. Let's see. I did something really weird this week. I don't call it weird because it was weird. It was just different for me. I took my sax out on the beach again. I did it on Sunday, and it was so fun that I did it again on yesterday. And I confirmed something that I already knew. I don't play for people to see me. I had on shorts and a t-shirt. As a matter of fact, it was my workout stuff that I had on from before. I did change my shorts, but same old shirt. And I went and I sat up and I played for about maybe 90 minutes, and it was so cool. So many people were so nice to me. And this couple was there. And they said to me, the guy came up after we chatted for a little bit. When I'm packing up and getting away, people want to find out who this guy really is. So the guy said something to the effect of he was feeling down, but he was glad he came out, tonight because his spirits were lifted. And it just touched my heart because that's my goal as a musician. I don't care what I look like. I do care what I sound like most of the time, but I care what my audience feels. So when that man said that, I could see it. His wife was there. And we had a little back and forth, and I ended up just, saying to him pretty much, when we're feeling down, if we can find something to be grateful for, because I told him I wasn't feeling too good myself, but I came out to give. And I was grateful for the gift that I have that I can share it. And I'm glad he told me what he told me. And I just encouraged him, and we encouraged each other to just be grateful when you find yourself feeling bad. It makes a really big difference. And I'll just say, oh man, what did I do that for? That's not what I wanted to do. Sorry. Back to my point. Be grateful. Show appreciation. It's almost like, dark and light can't exist in the same place. Sadness and Thanksgiving can't exist in the same place. So although I needed to take that advice for myself, and I'm going to share it with you. Kind of leads into what I'm going to talk about tonight. My subject tonight is keeping up with the Joneses and something else. I can't see the subtitle. The grass may not be greener on the other side, that kind of stuff. We're going to get into it. But I want to say howdy to Jackie and hello to Christine and what up, dog, to Anthony Morrow. And let's see, that makes 3, 4, 5. That means there's 2 more people watching and listening, and I really appreciate it. I really do. This is therapy for me, and it has been working because since I started this and since I've made some of the changes in my life, I've been a much happier camper just by making some small adjustments just in the way I think, the way I process things. Okay, I have a guest. I'm going to get them on, and then I'm going to try to get through my live and my stream. Hope you're having a wonderful week already, and I hope my guest is ready. All right, let's see. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I am blessed by the best and living in success. How are you?
Oh, God, here we go. Say that again. How are you? How are you again?
I am blessed by the best and living in success.
All right. Fine. I'm okay. I'm great. Thank you. I'm just messing with you. Anyway, thank you so much for being on my live stream. I'm going to give you the basic rules. I'm probably going to ask you some questions. Some of my questions are going to be yes or no questions. You will always have the opportunity to explain, express yourself, or talk in length. But if I ask you a yes or no question and you can answer it, do it for me. Yes or no? Can you? Is that okay?
Yes.
No one, my audience will never know your name. I don't do names, titles, locations, brands, anything like that. I really want to focus on the message and not the messenger. So whatever you're selling, we're not buying it today. Whatever you have to offer, if you dance, if you sing, if you can tell a joke, we're not interested in that today. If you have a car for sale or if you're trying to sell some old furniture, we don't want to know that. We just want to know what your thought, your views, your opinions are as it relates to the topic. The topic is keeping up with the Joneses, and I can't even see my subtitle. I'm not even going to mess with it. But before I get into it, do you have any questions for me before we get going?
I don't have any questions for you right now. I may have some later, but not right now.
Okay, I will probably answer 99% of your questions. Okay, so let's recap from last week. I had a topic and I had a clip that I played at the end, and it was about gray hair or greyhound. And it was, the topic was, the title rather was Just for Women, just for men. It's a brand of, coloring that we use on our hair, facial hair and our hair. And they don't have anything like that for women, but there's an aisle in every pharmacy just dedicated for women for hair color, face coloring, body stuff. I mean, just a whole aisle and one little section for men. But this thing is called Just for Men. Anyway, what are your thoughts on graying? First of all, here's my question. Do you color your hair, yes or no?
Yes,
You do?
I do.
And why do you do that?
Because I don't like the way my hair looks when it's gray.
Why?
Well, one of the reasons is that it's a transition. So to go from not coloring it, because I've been coloring it so long, to grow it out, it would look really interesting, where it's like in a mixed state. So when I start seeing gray come through, it's like, oh, I need to go ahead and color it because I don't like the way it looks. But that's with any color. Like if you ever look at someone that has like, I don't care if it's blue, whatever color in their hair, when it's growing out, it just doesn't look good until it became a style for a short season. But for the most part, I don't like the way it looks when it's growing out. And I think that it can make a person look older. Now, because I look young anyway, I have never been fully gray, but usually gray hair makes people look about 10 years older than they are.
That's what you think.
That's what I know.
You know that?
For the most part, when I see people and they color their hair, and then all of a sudden they decide to grow their hair out, it's like, wow. And they look older. And I've had people tell me when my hair starts growing out that it makes me look older until I go ahead and put that color back in it.
Okay, here's a yes or no question. If you look older, are you older? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, so if you're natural and you wear your hair, and just because you look older and you're not older, does it matter?
Who likes to look older? Like, it's like, I want to look the youngest that I could possibly look. Wouldn't you want to look the youngest that you could possibly look?
No.
Okay, so let me give a different point of view also. There's actually a couple reasons why there's only Just for Men. And I'm very familiar with it, and I remember, when I first saw the television commercial years ago, and I remember when my grandfather used to color his hair years ago. And one, it's more acceptable with men. Like even now, there's a trend where men have the gray beard, right? It's more acceptable for a man to be gray.
Acceptable by who?
By the general population. If you do a poll, it's just more. I've heard men will compliment another man that's gray or has a gray beard. But if it's a woman that's gray, and they're not complimenting. I'm like, well, when you gonna get your hair colored? That's what I've observed. I'm just gonna say that's what I've observed.
Okay, hold on. There's this saying that goes like this, and maybe you're validating it. Men are as old as they feel. Women are as old as they look.
Okay.
Do you agree with that? Because what you're saying sounds like you agree with that. If you say you don't agree with that, then I'll go a little deeper into what I think you're trying to say. So do you agree with men are as old as they feel and women are as old as they look?
I would agree with for the majority, yeah.
Okay, my older brother told me that a long time ago, and I thought it was interesting. Okay, I could stay on that for a long time, and I have a feeling I'm going to be doing that again because I do have a guest that I want to bring on. But we're going to just leave that alone right now. I really am. I really wished I could get into it with you on that, but I won't. Let's get into what the subject is for this week, and I have some notes And now my clock is starting. I'm going to try to be out by the bottom of the hour as I promised. Keeping up with the Joneses. You ever heard of that? You know what it means?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely have heard of it. Yeah.
And the
And I
grass,
definitely know it.
and the grass being greener on the other side.
Absolutely.
Okay, at the end, when we're done, there's a clip that I have that's about 5 minutes long, and it's called Resisting Reality. And the lady in the clip, she kind of goes into what I hope we're going to cover just before she closes it out. But resisting reality, not appreciating what we have and or wanting more. What are your thoughts of someone who will look into their neighbor's yard and see that they have either a new car or that they have, some landscaping around the house, or they just painted their house, and then you get jealous because you don't have what they have, and you either want to be like them or you envy them? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I feel like people that feel that way, that get jealous if they see someone else and what they have, that they're not confident in who they are. Because if they were confident in who they are and what they have, then they wouldn't compare themselves. So I don't feel like we should have to compare or compete. And that, to me, that's a competition. That's an area of competition and comparing. And to me, people just need to know who they are, and they need to know what they want. Because if you want, and I have family. I don't want to talk about my mom, but my mom has been like that all of my life, and she's still like that.
Like what?
She brought her last vehicle, because her neighbors had one. So she's one of those people. Oh, look at their yard. Let's get our yard just as nice. So my mother has been like that all of my life, and she'll buy the name brand, and she'll buy this and buy that because she wants to keep up with the Joneses. That's why I say I'm very, very familiar with it. But I'm not like that. I'm just like, well, what if I want something different?
Okay, I have a small confession. All right. I don't know if this is the same, because I don't want to criticize or judge anyone in any kind of way. I don't even want to have the subject and then not include myself. Now, I take pride in my yard. I like to cut my own grass. And until I started, traveling, I always cut my own grass. And I just think it should be cut, and it should be neat, and it makes a statement, and it's just who I am. But there are times, like if I have an extra day or two when my grass is not cut, and I see my neighbor out cutting his grass, that'll pop the whip and make me go and cut my grass. I don't think it's envy that I have, because my neighbor's grass is not well manicured at all, and I don't have a problem just advising him to get some weed and feed or to cut his grass more often. But they're good neighbors, and I don't want them to hear me trying to say anything negative or bad. But I get motivated if I see my neighbor out cutting his grass. I'll check mine. It just reminds me, and I don't think it's jealousy or envy. It's just just that I just wanted to throw that in there so I don't look partial or impartial, whichever is the right word, about this subject or topic. So,
good. No, you brought up a good point, because it's not whether you do it or not, but what is motivating you. So jealousy can motivate some people, but because it's motivating when you see someone else doing it, because you just want to keep yours up for yourself because you like the way it looks. That's a different type of motivation.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I have a question to ask you on that. Is envy and jealousy the same or no? Is envy and jealousy the same? Yes or no? Don't look it up. Just give me your just tell me.
I think envy goes a little bit deeper than jealousy. I think jealousy is something on the surface, like, You may say something bad about them because you're jealous of them, but deep down inside, you really want it yourself. But envious, I think it goes deeper, opposed to just, oh, you're saying something bad about something. I think envious people actually act on it. And, people that are envious of people, I mean, they may even go to the depth of hurting someone, or, oh, well, I don't want that person to have something. I wanted it for myself, and I can't have it. I may do something envious, more devious, more. I think it goes a little bit deeper, and it's harsher than jealousy.
Okay, I see it the other way. I think jealousy is evil, and I think envy is a little more innocent. But we won't spend a lot of time on that. I'm gonna just go. Thanks for your input on that. And I guess if you had looked it up, you would have been able to give me. And what about this? When you don't miss the water to the well when it runs dry, you understand that concept or that cliche also.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
You want me to expound on that?
Say it again.
Did you want me to expound on that?
Well, yeah, I do. Please do. Okay, let me go first. You can go after me.
Okay.
Let's just say, I'm going to use a real live example. I'll use my weight. There was a time whenever I was 50 pounds heavier than what I am now. And when the weight that I am now, I'm probably about maybe 18 pounds away from where I think I'll be comfortable. And I work on it every day. It's my own little self-conscious thing, and it's okay. But like right now, instead of being miserable at, where I am now in terms of my fitness, at my fitness and my level, I'm okay wherever I am, and it doesn't matter. Even if I was 50 pounds heavier, I don't think I would like it. It makes me just appreciate more. I'm kind of losing my train of thought. I wanted to use an example about just being appreciative, because whenever I was the weight that I am now and I'm just not happy, just miserable, beating myself up, and then when I'm 40 pounds heavier, I'm like, gosh, man, I should have been happier whenever I was, 40 pounds lighter. So at this point, and I think maybe that's why I've been able to at least feel better, about my health and fitness, is because I'm just appreciative. And if you're not appreciative of what you have and you're always wishing for something different, you're going to always be miserable. So that's what I'm thinking. You don't miss the water till the well runs dry. When you don't have what it is you did not appreciate, then when it's gone in some kind of way, you find yourself in a miserable place always, because you're miserable with something and you're miserable without it. Okay, you can expound now.
Wow. I think you can have gratitude and still want more for yourself. I don't think necessarily you're miserable when you want more or want something different. Again, I just think you really know what you want. But
okay,
my first thing is,
maybe you're talking about aspiration. I didn't even use that word yet, but I think I said exactly what I meant. People are miserable when they're always looking at something else and not being appreciative, and including myself. If I'm always trying to lose weight, always trying to beat my running time or my walking time, always trying to lift heavier, I'm never appreciative of where I was, because there was a time when I was heavier. I couldn't walk or run as fast. So when I'm appreciative of what I have and I just continue to make the best, I don't find myself wanting and wishing. And you are miserable when you want something. It sends the clear message to your subconscious that you don't have something. And I believe we have everything we need. No?
No, I definitely believe we have everything we need. But God doesn't just give us what we need. He says if we delight ourselves in Him, He'll give us the desires of our heart. So it's a difference in a need. We need food. We need water. We need shelter, right? But we don't have to just settle for a need. when he could give us what we want and desire.
When we get into talking about what God's giving us, I'm gonna this conversation is gonna get really lost for me. But I'm gonna say this: God may give me the desires of my heart. I want to be 60 pounds or 50 pounds lighter and healthy. But if I eat those Twinkies that I passed by 2 for $1 the other day, I don't care what the desire is. We create. I hear the word create. We create our reality. What we think and what we feel and the efforts we put forth, is what we end up with. And whether we admit it or not, I think it was Les Brown who said, all of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. So when we create everything, every place we are. What we thought yesterday is what we manifest, I guess, today. So I'm just going to leave it there. You can close out because I'm going to go ahead. I think we're done already. I just wanted to talk about. No, go ahead. Go ahead with your expoundation or whatever that word is.
Expounding. Well, basically, you're right. I agree with you about the Twinkie thing, and that's where the next principle is. Faith without work is dead. You have to do the work. You can't just say, I want to lose the weight and don't eat right and don't exercise. So I do agree with you on that.
And you can't also just say, I'm going to interrupt you you can't say, God is going to give us desires of our heart. I want, the $100,000 raise, but I'm going to sit at home and wait for it to knock on the door. You have to put forth the effort, and what you think as a man thinketh, so is he. So we can't just say we're going to get the desires of our heart. Faith without works is...
It's dead. That's what I just said.
Yeah, so...
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. The faith without works is dead. And we have to be willing to do the work in order to get the results we want to get.
And although we may want more or want something different for ourselves, we really should be appreciative of where we are. And I've learned that, the hard way many times, not appreciating something and then wishing I had it, once it's gone. And, the older I get, the more I try to be appreciative. You may not be happy with a situation, and you can't compare yourself to other people looking at what they have or what you don't have that they have. It just finds a way to just make, you miserable and people around you miserable. And it's just not good. So if there was any message I would, leave on this subject, being grateful for where we are. We can want more, and we can strive towards, like right now, I want to be, 18 pounds lighter. That's my goal, to reach there. But I'm okay. I'm thankful to God that I can still walk and run and go to the gym and do the things that I want to do. I'm grateful for where I am, although I'm working towards something else. And I don't want to make people around me miserable because I'm not happy with what I'm not, as opposed to being appreciative of what I am and what I do have.
I love it. Awesome. Absolutely. And I agree that's what it also says. My favorite book also says, be content in whatever state you're in. So it sounds like that's pretty much what you're saying about being content and being grateful and being, appreciative where you are while you're still striving to be where you want to be.
I like that too. Thank you so much. And that's the message that I want to send, for myself. If my audience or anyone else that will see this will get this, the point I want to make is to just be appreciative. No, even multimillionaires still want something, but being appreciative and thankful and grateful, it shows itself when you're whining and moaning. And I want to use that, another word, but when you're always nagging about, your situation, your family and friends have to hear that, and they will see you coming and go the other way, or they will just eventually, avoid, that kind of energy, and it's just not good. And I'm going to, take my own medicine and just try to be grateful for what I have. A lot of things I want, a lot of situations I want to change, but until they change, I'm going to be grateful. And the last thing I'm going to do is walk out in the street picketing, myself, talking about how miserable I am and telling it as Mr. Brown would say, to anybody that'll listen.
Right. No, I love it. And I think that is a great message for everyone to hear. And like I said, and really, you're making me take inventory and even more. I've been working on taking inventory of my words and what I'm saying, but it really is a day-to-day process. And you just reminded me about how I did a 30-day word fast. And with that 30-day word fast, was within that 30 days, I said I was not going to say anything negative at all. No complaining, no murmuring, no. And the person I was doing it with was like, well, if you say anything negative, you have to start all over. And so it kind of makes you take inventory of what's coming out of our mouths. Because sometimes I think we say things and we don't even realize we're complaining. We don't even realize we're murmuring or saying something, negative, or until someone else reminds us and tell us and say, oh, well, you should be grateful for that. Think about the person, who, I'll give an example. Someone may say, oh, well, this shoe doesn't taste as good as I want. Well, think about the person who wasn't able to eat today because they didn't have any food. So let's be grateful for the food you have, right? So I think it's really us making sure we're taking inventory on what we're thinking, because, of course, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. But not only what we're thinking, but what we're saying out of our mouths. And so this conversation is going to make me be more aware of what I've been saying, and make me think more about just not only being thankful in the morning and when I'm getting ready to eat and when I'm going to bed, but throughout the day consistently continue to just be grateful and thankful. So thank you for this conversation and for reminding me of just continuously being appreciative and thankful and grateful for where I am.
And I'm going to say one more thing on that note. You were talking about people who will remind you, or, it really gets bad when we find ourselves blaming the system or the man or my brother. If my brother hadn't done this, I wouldn't be in this situation. Or if my cousin would do something different, I would be different. We have to take accountability for the choices we make and for the thoughts that we dwell on. People cannot make us happy. People can make us feel good for a little while and make us temporarily, give us some euphoria. But inside, and you started by saying, when, people are not necessarily confident with themselves, they look outward towards other people to make responsible for that. I've done it myself, and I still catch myself doing it now. So I don't want to dog anybody that I may hear or see doing it, because it's easy to fall into that. No one wants to look in the mirror, when we're not feeling our best. But that's the place we need to go, and not look at our neighbors or someone beside us or around us. With that being said, I'm going to let you close. You ever been to the Baptist church and they have the guests say, hey, close us out?
Yes. Well, going with the topic, again, thank you for having me. I appreciate that. But definitely, we need to make sure that we are focusing on being appreciative and grateful, and not looking at what someone else has and what they're doing. Because the reality is, we don't necessarily see what it took for them to get to where they are, one. Number two, we don't need to compare and compete with others, but really, honestly and truly, like you said, be grateful and appreciative for where we are, so that we can work on who we are and be who we're supposed to be as we walk into our purpose.
You're not going to say, may the Lord watch between me and thee?
I am not.
You know you Baptist. Go ahead and say it.
I said enough scripture tonight. I am not Baptist. You're so funny. You know, I told you I'm not Baptist. I'm non-denominational.
Okay. With that being said, listen, thank you. What I'm going to do, I need to share something with you. So once you log off, I'm going to call you back in a few minutes once I pack up all of my stuff and get out of here. Oh, I got a spot at the last minute. One of my old clients called me and needed a spot today, and I just nailed it. I just took my afternoon and just finished producing a spot. So I need to reach out to my client, but I'm going to reach out to you. So stay up just a few more minutes. I want to chat with you for a few minutes, but thank you again for being with me, and hopefully you'll do it again. I know you're super crazy busy, but thanks for making time to have this therapy with me. I appreciate it. Okay.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. All right. Thank
All
you
right.
for having me.
Have a good night. I'll chat with you in a few.
Okay.
All right. Ciao, Pascal. All right, there you have it. Another guest and another edition of SWIM, SWIM. That is the acronym for Say What You Mean. I'm Travis Bridges, and as I promised, I do have a clip. It's about 5 minutes, and it is entitled Resisting Reality. And I think that's what we do whenever we look at something that we don't have, and instead of taking responsibility for where we are, you know, we're always looking on the other side of the fence and see if the grass is greener on the other side. So I'm going to play that. But I do want to say this before I go. This live stream is talk about talking, how we listen, how we hear, how we pay attention, what we do with the information. You can have conversations. If your conversation goes over 5 minutes and you haven't reached an agreement with someone, and you find yourself 2 hours or an hour or a day, you know, into a conversation where you're not getting any resolve, you might need to bite that bullet and cut that conversation down and, you know, start over again, because it's easy. There's an answer to every question. There's a solution to every problem, and it doesn't take a long time. You can really get to the bottom of things if we're accepting of truth, facts, and information. We just have to be willing to be okay with what we find when we investigate or, you know, open the door to truth and reality. With that being said, do me a small favor. Find someone you need to say, I love you to. Don't just say it. Show it, mean it, let it be true. Take good care of yourself. Have a great rest of the week, and I will chat with you next time. Take care. Oh, stick around for the clip, and I'll see you next time. Good night.
Hey there, happy Wednesday. I'm Shayna Lease. Today I am talking about resisting reality. In other words, wanting something to be different from what it is. Now, not too long ago, I did a video about letting go of outcomes, which kind of relates to this topic. So if you haven't seen that, I will go ahead and link it down below. Let's get started. I'm Shayna, and I love sharing ways on how to better yourself and how to create a beautiful life. Think about an area of your life that you feel frustrated, a specific situation that you wish were different from what it is right now. Now, it usually starts with should. I should be making more money. I should be further along in my career. My girlfriend should be giving me more attention. My boyfriend and I should be living together, which is something that I have personally been struggling with. We are having a very hard time finding our first place together in the city. And it has been a very hard pill for me to swallow, seeing that we're both ready. Our plan was to move in together after the new year, and this is what I want more than anything, and it's just not happening. First, there are 3 types of business: my business, your business, and God's business, or the universe, higher power, whatever you want to call it. Whenever we step outside of our business, we lose 100% of the time, because we can't control other people and we can't control our circumstances in the moment of what is, because it is what it is. And in order to demonstrate this point, I'm gonna use a chair. I saw another coach do this recently, and I was like, I gotta use that. I gotta bring that back to my people. So, hey there. Let's say that this chair, aka bar stool, represents reality, okay? So maybe it represents your bank account, your career rut, in my case, my living situation. Whatever situation you're having a hard time accepting, that is this chair. So what happens when I push and I shove and I fight against reality, right? I'm exhausted, right? It's exhausting when you're trying to change something or control something that is what it is. It's actually a really simple concept, and sometimes just kind of like hearing it from a different angle, you're like, yeah, what am I doing? Like, this is pointless, right? And being stubborn and trying to change something that's out of our control is exhausting. Welcome back to the room. Now, of course, that does not mean we can't do things to actively improve our bank account or get out of our career rut. It just means that trying to do it from that place of frustration and graspiness and feeling drained, that just never gets us the results that we want. So here's what to do instead. Number one, first and foremost, you want to get to a place of acceptance. Just release your control over the uncontrollable. Let go and let God. Then you choose to change your perspective because you do have control over that. And you just look at what is and you say, okay, what is perfect about this right now? When I answered that in my situation, I was like, okay, well, this is kind of perfect that we're not living together because the rent increase in LA is insane. And the longer we don't live together, the more money that we're saving. And the more money that I'm saving, the nicer furniture I can get. It's kind of all it took. And lastly, number three, you can then take action accordingly from this new place of peace and calm. So not to make it about myself or anything again, but you know, once I took these steps for myself, I even bought a new frying pan. And you're probably like, who the F cares? But it was a big step for me because for a while I was like, no, I am not buying anything for this apartment because I don't want to be here anymore, or I'm not going to be here forever. So I refused to buy anything, and that was me resisting. So buying a new frying pan, people, was a big step for me, a positive step. And you know, it was like, okay, relax, Shayna. Buying something new doesn't mean you're gonna be here forever. It just means that you're accepting where you are and choosing to be happy with where you are right now while continuing to look for places, but from a relaxed state of mind and choosing to trust the timing in the process. And now I feel much better about it. All of it. Anyway, I hope this video has helped you immensely. If you are not on my email list, I sent out a brand new free gift. It's a free checklist to go from career confusion to career clarity. I'm not kidding you, these are the exact steps that I give my clients on our first one-on-one coaching call. So you don't want to miss that. Make sure you sign up below if you haven't already. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, and I'll see you back here next Wednesday. Bye.
Yeah, do all that to my channel too. Good night, everybody. Thanks again.
SWYM. Say what you mean. As much as this information is designed to bring awareness to how we listen, hear, and process, it is also a form of therapy. The little person inside of all of us needs to be heard. As adults, even listening to ourselves is a form of healing, strengthening, and growth. It's okay to speak, talk, express yourself, and be heard, even if you're the only listener. If our testimony does anything at all for anyone else, that makes the continued effort worth the time. Get the words out. You'll feel better, and that's a promise. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
You know, sometimes it seems like all the good times are gone. But you got to keep on searching. You got to keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. For example, take me standing right here today. I would not be here with you if I believed the things that the people say. You got to keep on searching. Keep on searching.
Keep it on the cool side. Keep on making love. Ooh, ooh. Hey, good night, everybody. Thanks again. I appreciate ya.